you share it to Facebook?
I will.
Okay. I don't know if you could do it from. Dang, we did it, Rick?
We did it, I think. I don't know. I'm hoping.
Oh, I thought you were going to be on that screen, too.
Oh, you guys, I'm going to give you comments there.
Oh, nice. Ricky's done it again, bro.
I'm still eating.
Oh, you're still. Dang, let me crack open my beer. I got time here. So, welcome to another edition of 10 Soldier Tuesday. We're going to get off a little slow here. Everything's good, Rick?
Yeah, we're live.
All right. Oh, yeah, you got it. We're just going to go over some of the some of the Cincy Street Nights details.
Can you make that bigger?
I think that's as big as it gets.
I was just curious.
No, it doesn't give me an option.
That's all right. We can read it.
Yeah, we can still read it. Yeah. Let me just get my chair back, dude. Sorry, we were moving stuff in here in the new shop, and then Ricky told us we had 2 minutes, so we were we were running way behind. But we'll go over Cincy Street Nights details. What Brad Squared, as we call them, did at Sick Week, and then we can talk about lights out a little bit also. So, but what do you want to talk about first, bro?
I don't know. I guess Cincy Street Nights. I'm sure that's what the people are here for.
Yeah. So, well, you go over the technical aspect, and then I'll go over the other stuff.
I ain't taking nothing. These are Josh's rules
Yeah.
for this one. But yeah, so the first one is a World Series of No Prep race, so it's a little bit different than our normal races. So the classes are similar, but we're gonna have a hard tire class, a big tire class, which we don't normally have because it's a World Series of No Prep race, and he has points. Yeah. And then all the rules are Josh's rules, which his small tire rules are the same as our small tire rules, so that doesn't affect anything.
Yeah, all that's really the same. I'm pulling up class lists and stuff now. So if you haven't been to a Cincy Street Nights event, we've done them for I don't know,
A couple years now.
I think it's 3. So yeah, they do really good. It's at Edgewater Sports Park. That's about 30 minutes from us is where they're located. Let's see here. So the biggest thing to note about this first race is the racetrack guaranteed $10,000 to win. So for small tire, we haven't released the payouts for all the other classes yet. We'll do that within the next week. But yeah, small tires, $10,000 to win, free entry. The other cool thing that I like about this structure that we got on we've never done a 2-day event. So I seen some questions about camping and stuff. You can absolutely camp that night. Friday night, we'll have a small tire shootout along with all of our other classes, but it will just be 100% payback on Friday night, which I would say we'll probably do a $100 entry, but I'd say there'll be a lot of cars there just for the $10,000 to win the next day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's it's a good way to get some test hits in before, the big 10,000 to win race the next day. Yeah. We'll look at the racetrack. I'd say we'll probably scrape it again after the Friday night race. Like Saturday morning, the track will most likely get scraped again. But obviously we'll look at it Saturday morning or after the race on Friday night and make the decision of what we need to scrape to make the track as fair as possible on Saturday, whether that be to the 60-foot or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
We'll make that decision, depending on what the track looks like after Friday night's race.
Yeah, and the other thing, it'd be, I think that's really only the second weekend that Edgewater's open. So
Yeah, so it probably will be pretty slick because the track's been sitting all winter. So
yeah,
yep.
and you might get a break from Charlie Brown also because I don't know if we're gonna have a
yeah,
motor or not.
yeah, I don't think we're gonna have it together.
Yeah, we're still waiting on pistons. I told Tony I would send him a picture of my boobies. He just acted like that would maybe not help. I don't know why. But yeah, so I'll go over the complete deal here. You got small tire, big tire, hard tire, all the tires, stick shift. The stick shift rule, if you're paying attention to this, we've always done H pattern only. And I'm not going to say people cry about that, but there's a lot of local people that like the not NMR, what do they call it? The stick shift stuff locally.
The UMTR.
Yeah, UMTR guys always want to come race, but they're like, my transmission's too fancy, so they can't. The rules never fit for them. So,
Well, I would say that, yeah, Josh lets Linko cars in. It's good. Everybody's going to be in for a bad time. So.
well, the one thing that he did do though is he did, the Linko car. You can have whatever trans, but it is limited to a 28-10-5. So
That's
most
true.
of your big tire.
Yeah, pretty much all your fast, what they call it, they have UMTR as quick stick and street stick. You're right. And I'm pretty sure all the quick stick cars are all on big tires. So they're not going to fit anyways.
Yeah, well, and I'll say this. So there was a lot of guys that were like, I talked to the UMTR representative, and I'm sorry if I forget the guy's name, but he was really adamant that people would come out and race if there was no if the H pattern rule doesn't exist. So I would say that, this is your chance, right? If because we did stick shift all last year, H pattern only, 28-10-5. That was pretty much the only rules.
No, I don't think I didn't put a tire rule on it. It was
you did? Yeah, it was just H pattern.
It was just had to be a steel body car with a H pattern.
Oh, yeah, so this is kind of the opposite of that.
Yeah, this is the opposite. Now you can have any manual transmission, but it's got to be on a small tire. So hopefully somebody with a Linko or a Liberty or something shows up on small tires. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool. No, I would like to see it, and it would give it if truly people would show up, then that could be a class change for us potentially. I don't know. We're not experts when it comes to classes. It's I don't know. We try
to make classes to where we can have the most car count.
Yeah.
Because having a class with 2 cars in it is just silly.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah.
So
I want to have 20 cars in every class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the season opener for Cincy Street Nights. There's about a race a month at Edgewater. You can see the full schedule at the Cincy Street Nights Facebook or go to Edgewater. But there's really 3 big weekends. So we have a doubleheader here, and then I think it's around mid-July. We have another double, a
2-day race.
2-day race that we're going to do something similar to what Jeff Thomas did with the Gangster Paradise race, where it's kind of an invite-only, big money to win deal. And then we'll do something in October for kind of our, season ender.
We're going to try to do another 10,000 to win free entry race in October. That's the plan.
Yeah, we'll see how this one goes.
Hopefully this one goes good and we can get some sponsor money for the one at the end of the year too. But you guys can Summit Racing is the big sponsor that's helping with the 10,000 to win race. So
yeah, and they kind of came on board for the season. Summit did, and which was really cool was they Rob Winley's who does most of the stuff at Edgewater. They told him that they wanted to particularly be involved with Cincy Street Nights just because they like the car count, the spectator count, all that stuff. And I don't think we had a race last year that had under 2,000 spectators.
It was definitely.
It was
so
awesome.
Thank you to everybody for coming out and supporting Cincy Street Nights and keeping the series going strong.
Yeah, now that the track, I'll be honest, we almost stopped a couple times because it's just it's
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work over and above what we already do, but the racetrack has really stepped up over the last couple of years to make it a lot easier on us to where we just more do the promoting, and then we have our lead guy Casey that does everything in the staging lanes, and so now we actually have the ability to race that race, and it's fun. So
Yeah.
um,
But yeah, so like Jason said, we're going to have 3 big 2-day races this year, and then all the other races in between will just be Friday night races like Cincy Street Nights has always been.
Yep. Now, the other thing we might do, we've been talking about doing something special for Big Tire on Saturday night. The reason for that is this is actually before the MPK season. So there's a few local guys that, want to come and be a part of that. One of their cars is at our shop. I don't know if Tony's stuff's probably not gonna be ready. But we've talked about that, so that if we see enough interest about the Big Tire stuff, then we could potentially, do something a little bit more from that. So 2685 rate. Oh, I didn't even notice. Man, we've got a lot of comments. Thank you guys.
Mostly it's just people saying hi.
Yeah. The 2685 stuff, man, we personally love 2685 racing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see how Happy does with it.
Yeah.
I think
I'm curious to see if people will actually strap the small tires on and give it a whirl. I almost think, that if it's just small tire on a smaller tire, that you're still gonna, there's nothing keeping from really fast cars from putting small tires on and, being fast.
Yeah,
just like they were on a 28-10-5. So
yeah.
I almost think you need some extra rules in there just to keep the class in check.
Yeah,
but I don't know. We'll see. I'm always open to try new classes, but we try to set our classes around what we think will, draw the most amount of cars. Like I said, I don't want a class with 2 cars in it. I want a class with 20 plus cars in it every month. And then also, normally our classes don't have a whole lot of rules because I think that any rule that doesn't slow the car down, that basically keeps parity in the class is a pointless rule.
Yeah.
So we're never going to have a class, I'm never going to have 47 rules that care about, your dash and your back seat and the color of your interior and this and that. I don't care, like at the end of the day, the interior of your car does not really make your car any faster or slower. So I don't care.
Yeah.
The rules that are in place for our classes are, to try to set each class in an ET range. So, we look at small tire and I want it to be in this, well, it keeps going faster, but
yeah, we're trying.
For the sake of the conversation, it's in this ET range, and then True Street is in this ET range, and then the next class down is this ET range, so that way everybody has a class that they fit in.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is is you see so many people that go out and they run small tire, and that's fine. That's. If you want to run small tire, you want to run small tire. But, if you're a 570 car, you probably shouldn't be in small tire.
Put some hard tires on it. Or
I know the clocks are off, but it's not rocket science to know that these guys are going much faster than 570s. So, you should probably be in hard tire or True Street or one of our other classes. I will say one of the classes that we are going to debut this year, not at the first race, but at the second race, we will have a 590 index. Yeah. And that's kind of to bridge the gap a little bit between True Street and 650 index.
Yeah.
And then I know there's also the guys from Fire Punk. And there's, the 590 index is real big in the diesel world. So we had quite a bit of interest in some four-wheel drive diesel guys coming and running the 590 index as well. But, I mean, nowadays it's so easy to take a stock 5.3 with a turbo on it and run 590s. So, I don't see any reason why the 590 index won't be like a really big class.
And I think locally, man, like it's easier. Everybody hates index racing, or they say that. Like, I mean, I don't want to be bracket racing, but
it's better than bracket racing. Yeah. It's still heads up at least.
If you're talking, if you're talking local stuff without ruling it to death, it's a lot easier to just throw an index on it. So, and that's what we're going to try with the 590 stuff and just see, you know, how it does and you know, kind of go from there, which we're not afraid to make mid-season tweaks. Like it's not like we're having a point series or something like that. And we try to get what's easiest to tech. You know, a lot of times, like, we'll get suggestions on classes that people want to have, and it's like, man, that's a nightmare to tech.
Yeah.
And we got burned a few times early in our race promoting deal, just kind of not having time to really get after tech and stuff, and like a tire would slip through or whatever, and then it's a big deal later.
Yeah.
You know, so, but that's just what we've learned. Hey, Rick, you changing our lighting now, bub?
Yeah, it's looking a little bright.
What?
Didn't give me any time to set it up.
We weren't sitting in here. We were out there. How's David Farlow? Farlow's car, we'll jump off this real fast and say about that. Farlow's car was a lot more screwed up than what we were really hoping it would be. So Farlow's going to get a new car, but we're not going to start on that until we move into the space that we're in right. Well, we're in here talking, but it's not ready for much else. So once we get set up, moving, stuff like that, we got a new guy that we're bringing on, Todd. He's going to help with some of the chassis stuff, and we'll get rocking on Farlow's car then. They're going to race the little tiny car. Lagello.
They won they won small tire last weekend with it.
I know. I talked to Farlow yesterday. He's like, we should not have won that race.
Did you just have that car sitting?
Yeah, they had it. Yeah.
Well, I would say Eric Gold's tuner's been building that thing. It's actually Eric's car. Yeah. And Farlow just drives it, but Eric's been messing with that thing for a while, putting it together. It's just like a K24 with a power glide, and I think it's got, I don't even know what rear end in it, but I'm pretty sure it's like ladder bars with
it's like got a 76, built at 76 or something.
Yeah. It's super simple. It's like an 8.8 with ladder bars, power glide,
K20. It came from Puerto Rico.
K24 and a 76 millimeter turbo. Yeah,
it's cool.
It's like pretty basic setup. But
maybe we could get Farley to put some slicks on that and come run Cincy Street Nights. That'd be fun.
It's like 14 inches long.
Yeah. He said it did a wheelie, and he was just talking about driving it. And he said it was awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool. Well, yeah. So Cincy Street Nights. Well, we will, and I apologize. We've been behind the 8 ball a bit, which is trying to get all the stuff we got going on in our regular business, and then
this building is taking way longer.
To
put together than we intended.
Yeah, so. And it's just like setting money on. It's worse than building a race car.
Yeah.
It's way worse than see the awkward silence of like
you thought race cars were expensive.
Try to
remodel a commercial building. Oh gosh,
get back to us.
I said contractors send you a bill and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah, like it's made me realize a couple things. That we don't charge enough fees in the chassis building.
Oh, yeah.
The
it's
fees.
like, I thought we were expensive. And then you get a bill for concrete and blacktop and drywall, and you're like, they were here 2 days and they charged me $20,000. We do not charge enough. We're in the wrong business.
Well, we closed on our building.
We should have started a construction company.
Yeah, we'd have way more cool stuff. And, we closed and signed the dotted line. When you sign the dotted line, don't ever look at all the things because the amount of fees in that is unreal. But we're really close. Yeah, we're closer than we've ever been. But we started out building our race car guys here will relate. We started out building a simple Mustang with an 850 cert cage kit.
Is this what you're comparing to our building?
Yeah, it was a simple Mustang, 850 cert cage kit. Now this deal's getting ready to be done, and it's Dave Fiskus's Buick Grand National.
No, whoa. Dave's car is way nicer than this building. Yeah. We just went from an 850 Fox body to a 25.3 Fox body, but it ain't no top of the line Grand National.
Yeah, it's got some some lipstick on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think this.
We just put some lipstick on a 1980 Pig.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, commercial building. This is depressing. Yeah. But yeah, we're close. We probably April-ish. We'll be in here. Ricky's done settled up and left us. He's got his new office here. He don't even come back. We have to beg him to come back to the old shop. But yeah, well, let's talk about sick week, Brad. What you and the other Brad. We shouldn't call him. That's disrespectful. Yeah, my mic keeps falling, Rick.
I just call him Brad Arnold.
No, I call you guys Brad Squared. That's the official. It'd be all right, man. It'd be all right. Man, you guys absolutely killed it with. If you don't know what the Buick is what year is it?
It's an 87 Regal.
Yeah. So, it looks kind of like Dave Fiskus's car.
Well, I mean, it's basically the same car. T-type. It's a turbo T technically, but it's basically the same as a Grand National. Just doesn't have the Grand National badges, and it's not all. Pretty sure all the Grand Nationals were black.
Yeah.
The T-types and the turbo Ts you could get in white, gray.
Was his originally
silver.
gray then?
Yeah, it's originally a gray turbo 87 turbo T.
Yeah.
It was a turbo V6 car when he first got it, and we could never get the turbo V6 to run worth of crap, and so we started diving into it.
You didn't know Dave then?
No. Well, Dave couldn't have fixed this one. We figured we started digging into the V6 and figured out that somebody had put some real rowdy valve springs in it, and it still had like a flat tappet cam in it, and I guess the springs were too heavy for the flat tappet lifters or something. But anyways, long story short, it ate all the cam lobes off the cam, so it only had like 100 thousandths lift, and we're like, oh, that explains why it makes no horsepower.
It does not work.
Yeah.
Will not spin the tires.
The cam, which is supposed to be an aftermarket cam, is now smaller than the factory cam was. So it ran and idled and drove fine. It just was slow. And so anyways, that thing, it got swapped about 7 years ago. About this time 7 years ago, it got swapped from a turbo V6 to a turbo 5.3. And originally it was just a stock bottom end 5.3 with a power glide and an S475 and a Holly on it. And we went like 560s.
Yeah, with the S476.
Yeah, and then we kept upgrading turbos and then upgrade the motor a little, upgrade the turbo again, and now it's got a 98 on it, and it's still got a 5.3, and it's just got a really nice 5.3. It's full of BTR's whole catalog. But it's still a stock aluminum block 5.3, and it's actually still got stock 5.3 heads on it.
I think that's the coolest part of that.
Yeah.
Like, I've watched, we've watched this car, evolve.
Yeah.
Brad's always tuned it, and I don't know. It's got the first ever Battle Ready 88 that we ever built.
It does,
which is cool.
Yep.
And it's I love that car because Brad is always way more concerned about racing it than he is about buying the most trick part.
Yeah.
So it always is getting raced. It doesn't matter if it's, it doesn't have, and Brad wouldn't mind me saying this, it doesn't have the nicest stuff in it.
No.
It's got a lot of nice parts now, but
yeah,
they're not, it's not what you would expect it to be. And it's just refined. You guys have raced it forever, and
yeah, it's got that. He's made a ton of laps in that car. Like, we probably make 100 laps a year, and we've been racing it for 7 years. So that thing's, I guarantee, got close to 700 laps on it,
if not more.
Since it's been a turbo LS, you put 700 laps on something, you figure it out.
Yeah, and between that car and our white car, like, we really learned, like, really how far you can push some of the stock stuff. And
Yep.
you know, it's really funny to watch what people say on the internet to be true, which with what we found to be true, and it's just, oh man, every bit of it's you.
Yeah,
on the
there's a lot of
laptop,
misinformation on the internet. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So what was your guys' average? What class did you race?
So we ran Midwest Drags last summer with the car. That was our first. So we raced. We used to race the car in a lot of the True Street type stuff, like down at Turkey Bash. Charlie used to have a like a extreme street class where you had to go on a 30-minute cruise and then you'd come back and race. And we raced that stuff with the car forever. And then that stuff kind of died off a little bit local. So, and the drag and drive stuff was getting hot. So
Yeah.
we were like, well, let's do a drag and drive event with it. So we did Midwest Drags with it last year in our first ever drag and drive, which was cool because it started and ended at Edgewater, which is, like our home track. So
we were
it was
supposed to have a stop at the shop.
Yeah, but it
didn't
rained
work.
and-
Didn't
yeah.
work. Still, yeah.
But we finished second in Super Street and third. We were third fastest car in all of Midwest Drags with a freaking Turbo 5.3 G body. And
This car is not light.
yeah.
What does it weigh? I was telling people it weighed 3250, but I wasn't sure.
No, I thought we would put more weight in. I thought it was about 3,300, but we actually had for Super Street, we actually have a 3,000 pound minimum weight. And so we had to go across the scales. And we raced all last week at Sick Week. We were like 3260, 3270 is what we were
so
going
me
across
telling
scales
people
at. Yeah, you're
3250
as close.
close.
As
Yeah.
close. Yeah. And it's still all steel, all glass and everything. But so Super Street is a class. You basically have to have stock front and rear suspension. It has to be all steel, all glass, and you got to be on a 28-10-5, and you got to be 3,000 pounds or more. So there's quite a bit of rules. It's
Kind of like an ultra street.
yeah, ultra streetish type class.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to have factory floor pans and all that. So you got to have a fairly stock all steel, all glass vehicle. So it's a really cool class, but there's no ET range, so you can go as fast as you want. But since we're running quarter mile, they're very strict on the cage cert. So you're not allowed to go any faster than your cage cert. So unfortunately, the car was originally, we put a Chromile 850 in it, and then we upgraded that to a 25.5.
And this is always
and
happen
it's
on
like,
a weekend.
Yeah,
and yeah.
it's like last minute. So the car's 25.5, so they wouldn't let us go any faster than a 750. You can't turn a time slip in. Well, the car's been 750s a bunch of times, but we were like, the car had never been 40s. We knew that it was capable of going 40s by how fast we had been in the 8th mile with the car. The car's been 475 in the 8th. And so we knew it was capable of going 30s or 40s, but we were like, I don't think it'll happen. We should be okay. So we get down there in Orlando, and the first day the air's pretty good. And very first pass, it goes like a 746. In competition, we were like, well, shit.
It's so frustrating.
It's like literally just went a quarter mile personal best. First rip at Sick Week, and we can't turn it in.
Yeah, you can't go, yeah.
Yeah, it went like a 483, 746. So we're like, are you kidding me? So did not expect it to go 40s that easily. And so I turned it down a little bit, and then we went like I think we went like a 54 or something the next pass. And so we turned that time slip in and then got on the road to Bradenton. So if you're not familiar with Sick Week, it's basically the same format as Drag Week, but we started at Orlando on Monday, and then we drove to Bradenton, and then from Bradenton to South Georgia, from South Georgia back down to Gainesville, and then Gainesville back to Orlando. So it's 4 tracks in 5 days. We drove the race car track to track to track. We drove 800 miles in the race car. and we went 750s every single day. I think our worst time slip that we turned in all week was a 758. But we ended up with a 753 average for the week, which was good enough for second place again in Super Street. Eric Yost and those guys, they went 740s every day. Unfortunately, his car was 25-3'd. So
he owns a chassis shop.
Yeah. So he went 740s. It's actually funny though. We actually at South Georgia on the third day, Eric Yost only went a 747, and the air was pretty good at South Georgia also. And what I thought was going to be like a 50 or a 51 pass went a 745. So we actually went faster than Eric Yost did on the third day in South Georgia on accident, and we couldn't turn in the dang time slip.
Yeah, that's
so that was like kicking the nuts, but I don't know. But the car's definitely going to get some more tubes in it, and
it's honestly it's not missing that much. We were planning on putting a hard top on the car. It's a T-top, so we were going to put the hard top on and update the cage, but it just hasn't happened. So I don't know, it's going to have to be a little bit more of a priority before.
Yeah, the next race. Yeah, definitely got to get a couple more tubes in it. It'll be 25-3 next time that we do a drag and drive event for sure. Yeah, it's not a big deal when you're running local 8th mile stuff. Nobody ever checks the chassis stuff, but when you're running quarter mile, they're a lot stricter. Yeah, like we went almost 190 in the quarter. So
190 with the Silverado motor.
Yeah, it's getting it.
Yeah, that's fast.
190 with a 5.3.
Yeah. It was just cool to because most of the time like I'm at the event with him, like it was kind of cool to have a bird's eye view of what was happening. We were texting like I could let him know how fast people were going, stuff like that. It was just really cool to see how well they did. Like the Buick's cool, man. Like they don't run a gear vendors, they don't run any of this stuff that like everybody else has, and the only thing they do to change it, they pull the belt off the fuel pump and they swap the tires, and they don't do anything crazy.
Hook the trailer up. That's it. Yeah. There's very little to swap between race mode and street mode.
Yeah.
But I mean, we did that on purpose just because I didn't want to have to spend an hour and a half working on this thing to switch it from race mode to street mode. So it's literally just changing tires and popping the fuel pump belt on and off.
Yeah,
for the mechanical pump. That's it.
Oh, that's cool. Yep. It really we love cars that are relatable. So, like we build, we're known for building high end drag cars. But our heart is with the people that, the more of the budget guy, and a lot of times that's when you call, we tell you no. Like, hey, you probably don't need that. Like that's why we love the 8.8 stuff. It's, it saves you money, it gets you going. It's not, I understand the buy once, cry once, but honestly, we've never operated like that because we didn't have the money to do that. We made whatever we had work, and that car is such a testament to that. It just works.
Well, that's the whole reason we build race cars, because we wanted race cars and couldn't afford somebody else to build them for us. So you just build it yourself and figure it out.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
But I think they got all of us motivated. Heath wants to put something together, and then
the drag and drive stuff is super hot right now. I mean, there is more drag and drives this year than ever before. There's probably it's crazy. Probably 15 plus drag and drive events this year in the US.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It used to be Drag Week was the only one.
Yeah.
It was a once a year thing.
Is that something we would do? That's like consultant,
Yeah, I think so. I mean, well, because it would get, the thing I love about it is if we did it as a crew, like Todd that's coming to work for us, he's got a car that's totally capable of, that's something that he wants to do. Heath has another 4-door car, surprise it's 4-door, but 4 of us could ride in it. And then they have Chase. Oh, it'd be so fun, man. Yeah. And it kind of,
I wouldn't have to film this time. That'd be a big plus.
Yeah, actually, you're actually gonna get a video of sick week.
If Ricky can stand to post it.
Yeah, Ricky's not gonna love it, but it's all it's all Brad filming. But
there's gonna be a disclaimer. This is like you ever. There were some movies that they made like 10+ years ago where they were like first person filmed, like, this is going to be like the Blair Witch Project of race car YouTube videos.
Ricky's going to like put a disclaimer.
Yeah. I did not film this.
Yeah. It's not a thing.
Yeah.
That's funny. It'd be cool to. I will think that people will be surprised how uneventful it really is. Like, not to spoil it, but yeah. I mean, and Brad Arnold is a mechanic. Brad's a mechanic by trade. Like, that's what he did before we did this. So, like, you know, it's no surprise to me that it goes as well as it does for you guys. Like,
yeah, I mean, anything can happen, but Brad and I know our way around a car pretty well.
Yeah, you guys do exceptionally well. One time, like, so he doesn't like to. I like to brag on him because he's my buddy. But like, we've never, like, one of our cars has really never leaked anything on the starting line that I can ever remember. And one time, we were somewhere, and they had to back me off the starting line because the car leaked oil. And the look on the sheer disappointment on this man's face was hilarious. Like, he was just like, "Oh my gosh!"
I was so confused. I'm like,
failed.
where in the world? Because it was leaking really bad, and I'm like, where in the world is all this oil coming from?
Yeah,
it turns out the factory 200,000-mile Silverado oil pressure sensor blew into pieces, and it was just geysering oil out of the block.
It was no fault of ours.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
It's literally pouring
I've never
oil out.
seen you so disappointed in a race car. I mean, it was so funny.
Yeah. Luckily though, it was on a time run, and we were able to push it back to the pits, and I actually had the parts in the race car trailer to fix it. We swapped out the factory Silverado sensor for a low dollar sensor, and Brandon gave me
an emergency
Chevy LS 2 1/8-inch MPT adapter, and I didn't even know I had it. And I got in there and was like, "Oh, I have the exact adapter that I need to put just a regular pressure sensor in here." So we unscrewed the factory sensor, popped in the adapter, and one of Brandon's like 100 PSI sensors, and never had a problem again.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and I think we actually won that night.
We did.
Sure we did.
We won that.
I think we won small tire at Muncie that night.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So if that would have happened in first round, that would have been it. But we got lucky, and it
My
happened
wife
on
was
our
also pregnant. That
happened on our time run. We got it fixed, and then we ended up winning small tire that night.
Yeah, that's cool. That was a good night.
Yeah.
This guy's trying to buy Charlie Brown. Mike, man, there's some things in this world, my man, that are just they're worth more than money. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely don't want a number with this 5-inch bore space motor.
Now that we still gotta pay Tony, but that's just, hey Tony, we got this building, you know. But
racing a nitrous car is way more expensive than racing a turbo LS.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a lot of fun though.
Yeah,
it's cool. But no, I mean, I appreciate you loving that car so much, but.
We love it too.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think that's.
I don't think it's going anywhere. I'll hang it from the ceiling before I sell it.
Yeah, it's one of them. Man, I would disagree with it. That's probably more of a deep theological discussion.
I don't know. I would say this is the Ronnie in me, but like the older I get, the less that I want to sell stuff, because I'm like, I can make more money, but I can't replace that vehicle or that thing. You know, some things you just can't replace.
Well, and like I love like part of the attachment is like we love Heath so much. So like you know, like our partnerships with anything normally start out pretty clear, but then like you start racing them, you're like, well, yeah, it's just muddy, which is fine.
Yeah. It's
But
funny how attached people become to race cars.
oh, it is, man.
Yeah. Like we used to get people all the time like, you shouldn't update this or cut this thing apart to do all the stuff you want. You should just sell it and start over. And people are like, nope, too much sentimental value.
Yeah.
And I get it.
Yeah.
You know, it probably not a good financial decision, but
yeah.
you know, if you love a car, you love a car.
Well, that's kind of how I feel about, you know, Charlie Brown. I look at race cars and I look at, you know, for us, it's, you know, the people that is connected with that car. And I'll tell you what, man, like that thing, gosh, it sells T-shirts. Like it'd be a bad financial decision. It'd be a bad business move to get rid of it. And, you know, and like, it's really a terrible race car. You know what I mean? Like it's really.
It's not that bad. I mean,
it's not, but it's
well,
like, you know, if
everybody
you're thinking something, you're like, that's bad.
Everybody thinks that the 4-door is like way different than a 2-door G body, but it's not. It's
the
people
wheelbase
don't
is
realize
so-
that it's the same wheelbase as a 2-door G body. It is a 2-door G body, just with some extra doors slapped on the quarter panels. So
Yeah.
it's actually a pretty good race car. If you see an influx of 4-door Malibu race cars,
Yeah.
because 2-door Malibus are going for big money right now.
Yeah, they are.
Dude, I've been trying to buy one to just a daily drive to work, and you cannot find a clean like 79 Malibu for under like 10 grand running and driving. They're going for huge money.
Yeah, and like, gosh, man, I'm turning
I
to
feel
my
like you used to be able to buy these things for like $1,500.
we're turning to my dad.
Well, you don't realize, like, you know, I mean, I look at like 80s and 90s vehicles, and I'm like, them things are like 10 years old. Then you're like, you start thinking about it, you're like, whoa, and things are actually pretty old.
Yeah. That's funny. No, it I don't know, man. They're just, cars are unique, and I don't know. Now, like Brixton, my little man, he's 2, and every time he sees Charlie Brown, he said, Brown, Brown, Brown. You know, like now it makes me even more attached to it because he loves it. It's cool, but any chance of CO2 and boost?
Definitely no boost on Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
It's a nitrous car for life.
Yeah, unless we can't get nitrous.
The only thing that I would entertain over a big nitrous motor would be a big old screw blower sticking out of the hood.
Yeah, the screw blower.
That would be the only type of boost that Charlie would ever have.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
G-bodies look good with blower motors in them. Like, what's that?
DeMarco's car.
Yeah, DeMarco's
yeah.
car.
Yeah, it looks
The
so
Grand
good.
National with the screw blower. That thing is
And
mean.
I don't think that there's ever been a 4-door Malibu with a 5-inch board space motor, but
Well, I don't know. That just depends if somebody in Australia owns one. If somebody in Australia owns one, then there might be.
yeah.
We might have the only one in the States, but the Australians love their 4-doors.
I will say like you know, we're always known as turbo people, but that was just what was the cheapest. You know, that's why we did it. But man, I'm enjoying driving a nitrous car. I'm
enjoying tuning it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And it's just after you've driven a small cubic inch turbo car, you can drive anything, and it's easy. It's like, man, if I want to mess somebody up on the starting line, that is easy. Like, I don't care when you go in, man. Do whatever you want over there. There's no pressure on this side.
It does burnouts easy. It stages easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So no, we weren't even planning on talking about Charlie Brown, but he just comes up. But we're waiting on our motor from Bischoff. It's nothing that Tony's doing. He's just waiting on some parts. So we have everything.
He's been waiting on pistons for a while.
Yeah. Well, he didn't put a rush charge on them because he's like, I kind of told him when we needed it, and he felt like that they would get him to him in that time without paying a rush fee. And you know, in hindsight, we probably should have red labeled them or something. But whatever.
It's not like when you're building a turbo LS, you can use off the shelf.
Our Silverado
pistons. Off the shelf. Well, even if you put aftermarket pistons in it, you're using off the shelf pistons from Summit or BTR or Weisco or wherever. You know, it's like, you know, you're building a nitrous motor, it's custom pistons. You know, so you're at the mercy of the piston builder or whatever.
Well, and really the 5-inch stuff's like it's really not as popular anymore because you can get the 5.3 bore space, all that bigger stuff. So there's a lot of older.
Well, there's a ton of 484, big block cars out there, but when you start getting into the more, I don't know, I guess 5-inch bore space, I wouldn't say is exotic anymore. It was exotic 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a little bit harder to get parts for. So, but we'll be out.
Yeah. Well, we're waiting on that. Like, we're not like, if you're watching the live feed, we haven't really talked about it in a video, but Lonnie from Extreme Automatics is building us a Turbo 400. He's actually waiting on a couple pieces to finish that up, and then we got a converter coming from Pete at Circle D. We're actually going to do a lockup in the car, so we're really excited to play with that.
I don't know if I'll be able to use it or not.
Yeah, we're excited to have it. We might put the car on radials a little bit this year too. Just because we're going to have this big power plant and we're going to have a lockup and stuff. Like, it'd be fun. It'd just be fun to do it. So we'll see. One of the most I was so excited about. They're having an event at Pacemakers, which is not that far from here. That was a grudge deal with Brandon Mass coming to do it, and they had a all steel, all glass nitrous G body shootout. I was like, that is us. And it's radial prepped, and but man, they scheduled the same weekend as No Prep Kings. I was like, that was dumb, man. Like, why'd you do that?
Right.
Like, we could.
So if you're listening, move it.
Yeah.
Because I want to race both.
Yeah, we would like to come. It would be really like it. It literally fits. It fits everything. So that would be so cool. So I'm kind of trying to read through comments.
No, CB wouldn't fit an Ultra or X, Sean. It
could.
It's not far off, but so one, you can't run a 5-inch bore space motor in X. We could have raced with our old motor, our old 484 motor. We could have probably ran X with, but the car currently doesn't have rear frame rails in it.
We can fix that really easy.
Yeah, we would have to put rear frame rails in it and factory floor pans back in it to race. I think those are the only two things it's missing to be X legal. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and that's always a possibility. You know what I mean? We don't know if, who knows what we're right now. We're enjoying running the no prep stuff. We did have some fiberglass doors and stuff on order for Charlie. We're still waiting on them, but I don't even think we're interested in putting them on now. I think we're going to keep it all steel, all glass.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to see what the weight difference is.
Yeah, we actually.
I'll say we might have two sets of doors for the car that we swap back and forth on.
Yeah, we might, and like that's the radial stuff that interests us. Is I really like the all steel, all glass stuff. The car fits pretty perfectly.
Some steel, some glass.
Yeah. Fits pretty perfectly in that, and I don't know. And obviously, we love X and Ultra and stuff, but. At that point too, we might just have another car. Who knows? We're always and we get I don't know, like the Ultra and X. Like I love racing it, but it's just tough to go.
Especially nowadays, the X and Ultra stuff has really died around here. That if you want to run X or Ultra, you really have to go to South Georgia or Florida.
Yeah.
If you really want to race it. So I don't know. Man, that's just a lot to. Florida's a long drive with a motorhome and a trailer from northern Kentucky.
And we did it, man, like to kind of build our business in the beginning when we were racing our white car. And I'm really glad that we did it. It taught us a lot. We got to meet a lot of the people that we do business with now. But, man, it's just,
if I'm going to drive all the way to Florida to radial race, we're not racing Ultra or X. We're going to run LDR or Pro 275.
Yeah, something. Something.
If we're gonna go run radial stuff, I want to go fast. I want to go threes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm with Brad. Like that's kind of checked. We've been
bottom fours, bunch of times, and so it's like, we haven't been personally. We've worked on cars that have been in the threes, but personally, us two with our own personal car. Haven't been 390s.
Yeah.
So
and I'd like to go 200 in the 8th.
Yeah. So that's like next check on the box is we want to go fast.
Yeah.
I just want to go fast.
Well, and that could even be with a big tire car. Like we've kicked around the idea of
I want to go threes, and I want to go sub 1 second 60 foot. I want to go nine something 60 foot, and
well, I mean, we do that with stock suspension Mustang.
well, yeah, maybe, yeah. But yeah, you got to go south to do that. Bradenton, South Georgia, Orlando, something like that.
Yeah. Let's see. We're gonna do a bunch of the MPK races, but
yeah, we're definitely not racing all of them. Those guys are
much.
nuts
Yeah, it's
for
too much.
all them races back to back to back. We'll be at for sure every race within 4 hours or so of our shop. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and
we like racing them, man. Like it.
Yeah,
we like the two day, like, you know, the Friday you race and then Saturday you get to race again.
Yeah. That's actually what kind of inspired our 2-day events for Cincy Street Nights this year. Is we had so much fun racing the 2-day races at MPK, because it's like you get to race for money on Friday, and then you get to race for money again on Saturday. So it's cool, you know.
And the vibe of the event's cool, and like, thankfully every time we parked, Tony McKinney's kind of saved us a spot, and we got to park by the big tire guys, which, man, we sell so much merchandise. So if you're on here and you bought merchandise from us at an event, thank you. Like, that makes, like, you know, like, we feel like when we pull out of the shop, like, we already won. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna make enough that weekend to probably cover the weekend, and it just makes it a little easier.
Yeah, the T-shirt sales and stuff definitely help with travel costs and stuff. You know, diesel is just outrageous. When you got a motorhome that gets 7 miles a gallon, it just drinks the fuel. Yeah. Every time you stop at a truck stop, them truck stop pumps pump so fast. It's literally, it's like you're at a slot machine and you're losing. It's like ding, 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 ding. You're just watching your dollars being spent. You're like,
does the fuel gauge still not work in the motorhome?
That is depressing. No. Yeah, our fuel gauge in our new to us motorhome, it's 05, does not work. But the fuel light works. Yeah, when the fuel light comes on, you're like, oh, we better stop soon.
No, I'm like that. That's why we like it too. It's you know, again, we love the radial stuff. That's part of our foundation of our business. But it's just with me in the stage of life I am, you know, with 3 little kids, it's really tough to leave for that long. And then Brad's wife, like, you know, Brad likes his wife. He doesn't want to leave her for that long. You know what I mean? So it's a lot easier to do. So yeah, boost. Nah, we'll be good with Joey this year. Yeah. We have a really good relationship with Joey. I love those guys. We actually had a Hemi sitting in the shop. That's the picture that I posted on Facebook about it. It's one of our customers' motors, but I sent it to Joey actually first. And he's like, oh, like, I was like, and I kept it real light. I'm like, nah, man, you know, we're gonna rail you with the nitrous motors. So, and I think Joey knows that if we can back half, which we will be able to, people are in a lot of trouble. If it works like it's going to work in my head, Charlie should be pretty fast this year. Yeah. So that's all key. If it works like, I don't know. That's the other thing, man. Like about the nitrous stuff is like, you know, there's people doing it and being competitive and stuff like that, but there's just not as much of it, which is, I don't know. That's what makes it cool. I think it's just fun. And man, there's nothing like. There's a picture that we are going to get blown up for the front office that, you know, like I love seeing that car leaving the starting line with the flames coming out of it. Like, whoa! I mean, that's cool, dude. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's cool. Yeah. So. Yeah. I do love turbos just because they make power so easily and so cheap. But man, there ain't nothing like the candles lit going down the racetrack. Cause
it's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll say screw blowers second.
Yeah, we're turning
second. Yeah,
we're turning to Stevie Fast. You know.
Gosh, screw blowers are cool.
Yeah,
Getting
they
to
are
mess
cool.
with Tony McKinney's car, I'm like, oh, this is fun. Yeah. They just make horsepower so easy. Yeah,
And they're so angry, man.
Yeah.
Like they're just, oh gosh, they're cool, dude. It I don't know, it's fun.
I think that's what makes them so cool is that they're just violent. You're like, yeah, this thing's a bomb. Like it's just trying to blow the intake off at any second.
It's ready to come apart.
Yeah.
That's like when I was a kid, I was actually scared of blower motors for a while because when I was a kid, we were at Edgewater they used to have an AHA race down there, just a national open or whatever it's called, points race, and a dude was working on a top alcohol car, and when they fired up, they did something wrong. Clearly, the head blew off of it and hit the dude in the chest, and they had to air carry him out of there.
Oh dang!
And so when I was like 6 or 7, like maybe a little older than that, but I would have nightmares about blower cars like chasing me. You know what I mean? So now I kind of want to drive one just so I'm like, yeah, I conquered that. You know what I mean? But it was a bad deal. I don't know how that happened, but it was bad. But I guess we can talk about Lights Out. Yeah, so Lights Out as a company went really good for us.
Yeah, we didn't go. I don't know. Is this the first Lights Out we haven't been to in a while?
It is, yeah. We haven't been in. We did. I actually, when Brad was on sick week, like he was enjoying race cars, and I thought about just booking a ticket, and telling him that we were going when he got back, but we just had far too much to do, so it just wasn't going to happen. But we had the blue car that kind of got re-debuted down there. They struggled a bit just because
they changed a lot.
Yeah, it was a bigger motor. So
changed the motor.
We didn't really talk about that in
the
the videos that we did, but it did have. Tony went through the motor. It was bigger, had more stroke in it, and
they opened up the rules a little bit in X. You're allowed to. You used to only be allowed 588 cubic inch max, I believe.
Yeah,
and now you're allowed to run up to a 632. I think you can run up to a 615 with no weight penalty. Run at the same weight as a 588 used to.
Yeah. And that's what they made.
And then a
right?
616 to 632 is like plus 50 pounds or something. But no, it's not a 615. It's actually it's only a 601 or 602 or something.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I couldn't
So
remember.
it's not a whole lot bigger than the old motor. I think the old motor is a 585 and the new one's 602 or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
They struggled a bit too with tires. Like Mickey Thompson got bought out again, and like there's been like kind of a run of bad tires, so they ended up putting the old tires back on the car, and that helped. And it was just a bunch of stuff. But before they left, it went 102, 417.
Yeah, which I believe was personal best for the car.
Yeah.
In the 8th mile.
Yeah, and that thing it's been one flat, so
so it's got more in it. It's definitely got 415, 414 in it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So I actually talked to Charlie last night, the owner of the car, and I think that they're gonna probably go to Alabama. So, which I would love that for those guys, kind of to get that hard work to pay off, of doing that. But then, and then if you don't know, we built originally the McCain's Vet. We built that for another customer, and then it got sold, and now the McCain's own it, and
they're flying with it.
Yeah.
They I think they won a 15.
They won a 15, yeah.
415 with a big block nitrous Corvette at I think their minimum weight, because they do have like a 650 cubic inch. 650 is the new max in X.
Yeah.
So it's like a 650 cubic inch.
Yeah, that thing's rolling. That's actually the first car that we did a set of our unequal.
Yeah, that was the very first car that got our low prep radial 4-link brackets in it. So it's pretty awesome to see those brackets work in everything from street raced backwards track stuff all the way to radial cars going 4.0s and 14s, you know. So we got them on a couple on an LDR car. Well, we have the conversion brackets on an couple LDR cars. Yeah,
yeah. There's more than one.
Yeah, it's just cool to see them going all the way from 4.0s in the 8th. I don't think anybody's been threes on them yet, but
Yeah, they've been close.
Yeah, a bunch of 4.0 passes, and then 4.0s all the way to 6.0s. You know, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's good. Well, I'm like, what I'm proud of is like to go like to consult. You know, I think that's the best word of when we talk about cars that because some of the cars are down there we don't build, but we consult on them, right? To do that, and then to do as well as you guys have on drag week, and then kind of have our hands in some big tire cars. Like, I love how diverse our business is, and like that we can show up and win anything, you know, in some regard. But yeah, the McCains, they didn't win. They went out in the semis, and then that's when Milliken went out too, which that was a great weekend for Ryan. That diesel deal is different. You know, it's kind of been. He's kind of tried everything with
his
it.
shop's called Hardway Performance for a reason.
Yeah. Like you've seen some videos of like that car almost squatting with a bunch of front end travel, and then now it's kind of acting more like a traditional radial car. Like he's done a bunch of big swings with it to see what it likes and what it doesn't, just because it's got that big old motor up front, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, what's funny is that it went 417 squatting.
Yeah.
And then we made a drastic bar change, and now it separates like 5 or 6 inches and went a 417. So it's just funny to see that, you know, to make a completely opposite of the spectrum bar change, and it's 60 foot and run to the 8th almost identical.
Yeah.
And you're like,
what does it weigh? Was it 3,300 now?
yeah, his minimum weight's like 3,300, 3,350,
really
something
heavy,
like that.
man. Like, and that's like, if you're looking at combos to build for a class, typically, like, if we're looking at a class, we're going to gravitate to the lightest combo because it's the easiest to get off the starting line consistently. And that car is not that. You know, it is not.
It's heavy. I mean, it's got a billet Cummins in it, but it's still a little nose heavy
for what we would want.
Just that motor's just so big.
Yeah, he tried to run it with the. Can you still hear me all right, Rick? With that back? He tried to run it with a cast motor in the beginning just because there was a weight break.
The iron block, but he just struggled so much to get it to 60 foot with all that nose weight.
That's tough.
So
but so they were actually on opposite sides of the ladder, but they both went out in the semis. I was so ready to make that post that both
all TSR final.
Yeah, who you're riding with, you know what I mean? And it's funny, both their initials are RN. Well, DJ's driving, but so that was great. The Ultra Street guys, Fiscus, and actually we had a couple other cars next. We had got Turbo Terry, that Cheese Tunes was down there. They did well. Frank Mushaw drives that car. That's not a car that we built, but we've done a lot to it to kind of bring it up to date and work on it. And then the Ultra Street guys, they Fiscus and Terry Wilson, which Terry Wilson did the drywall in here. Shout out to Terry. He did a great job.
Yeah. Terry's been doing really good.
He has been doing really good. Big block nitro steel.
Cheeseburger really got him turned around.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, the old cheeseburger, baby. One guy, I'm not going to say who it was, but one guy came up to me at one race, and because if you don't know who Cheeseburger is, you're missing out. He's got this. He wears the Super Tuners, which is the Skechers shoes, and he's got a flowing mullet out the back of his hat. And we were at Georgia one time, and a guy came up to me. He's like, "Who's that guy in a Tin Soldier shirt?" Because whoever car that guy stands behind, that car wins.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. Say Cheeseburger wins more than he loses.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does a great job.
I had somebody call the other day, and I was talking to him, and he's like, was talking about, he's like, whatever car Cheeseburger's tuning, it doesn't spin. Yeah. Ever. No, it's like it always goes down the racetrack. I hate racing against him.
It's true, man.
Yeah.
And Cheese does it with, like, about zero of the things the internet says that you need. You know what I mean? Like it's just a basic. All this. It's
What's cool too is just his range of he's tuning a small block nitrous car, a big block nitrous car, a small block blower car, a V6 turbo car, a small block turbo car. It's like he's tuning all these different combos, and it's just like it's pretty cool to watch.
We tend to call him Jesus.
Yeah,
But yeah, and he's just so humble, man. He's such a good dude.
Yeah.
But
definitely the most underrated tuner in the game.
absolutely.
He's so quiet that most people don't know who he is,
And he tunes a lot. Like
he
tunes
tunes
a lot,
a
man.
ton of people's stuff.
It I don't know. But
Or it helps a lot of people.
he does,
yeah.
man, a lot. And that's the other thing I really like about Cheese is like
Helps his competition.
he'd help.
even,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, half the field in Ultra Street is
yeah.
going fast.
Cheeseburgers at least like helping them, like giving them some
Yeah,
pointers.
give him a point him in the right direction.
Yeah,
Yeah. He just like,
Yeah.
hey, you want to suck last night?
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
he
funny.
no, he's awesome, man. So then those guys, I forget what rounds they went out, but Pevlar ended up winning with that's the KBX car with John Clevis and
It was an all nitrous Ultra Street final.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was pretty cool.
a pedal fest.
Yeah, it was a pedal fest.
But no, the green car we didn't build it originally, but
We've done a lot of work to it since.
yeah, BP Racing built it originally, but
Yeah.
we've done a lot to it. It's got, I mean, it's currently, I mean, you set it up.
We redid the fronts. Well, we originally just mounted the motor and trans in it and built the headers, and then we plumbed it, and then it came back and we redid the front suspension, put all new struts, spindle mount struts, and everything on it, and then what else? We got a bunch of weight out of it.
we've got
Cut,
it's
cut
had
on it a bunch.
yeah.
And then the last time it come back, we worked on the anti-roll bar, and a couple other things. Added some gussets and just stiffening things up.
Yeah.
So they kept going faster, and the car started showing some issues and not wanting to go straight when they were trying to go 102 60 foot. So added a couple gussets and stuff and rebuilt the anti-roll bar, and that seemed to help.
Yeah,
But
it's got a under the rear end anti-roll bar, which man, we're just not a real big fan of that. Like we build them because people want that, but if you have the option, put it in the car. It works so much better.
yeah, they're just nothing's as rigid when you put it down there. So
Yeah, and the links are so long, and
yeah.
it just, you know, I mean, it just doesn't work as good. But they brought home the win, which was awesome to see. They've worked. I mean, that's a small walk nitrous car. I think that's 3 in a row.
Yeah,
So,
they've been killing it.
yeah, they're doing a really good job. And yeah, John and Justin, man, both really talented tuners, and you know, and yeah, it's great to see. So it was all in all, it was a good lights out for us, like as a company, watching everybody, you know, do what they did. Yeah, it's cool, man. So it makes me miss the radial stuff some, but
Oh yeah, we'll always have a soft spot for radial stuff. It's just I don't know, going fast is fun.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's going fast as fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and doing the slick, I kind of have a different opinion on the slick than what most guys do. Like, you talk to most radial guys, they started on a slick, so they have no desire to go back to it, just because it drives so terrible. Well, I started on a radial, primarily. I did drive a slick car a little bit, but you know, it's kind of fun going back to something that's a little more sketchy. So, yeah. Hubbard 4 in a row.
Yeah, he's killing it in the
He
next.
is killing it, man. He is.
He's tough to beat for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely put the work in, and he's got that program. I wanted one of our customers to do well in all of our categories, but it would have been cool to see Hubbard's daughter win Ultra Street and have both of them. That would have been really cool. So
yeah. They're really getting her Ultra Street car figured out.
yeah, it's fast, man, fast. But yeah, and it's cool to see like that lights out. Like Donald kind of does whatever with the promoting. That's a whole nother kind of topic. But as far as for us, like I love radio. I love the no prep stuff, love big tire stuff. We're not really like, yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We like all forms of drag racing.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever it is, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. But yeah.
We're at over an hour.
Oh, okay.
That we've been live, so I mean, you
Yeah,
guys are
we.
ripping.
Nah, we can.
I think we pretty much covered everything we wanted to cover.
Yeah.
We have to give a shot. I didn't even know we had a feature turned on. We got a $5 donation earlier. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Oh,
No,
wow.
I didn't see it.
That's
I'm
awesome.
going through the Taco Bell drive-thru all day.
Yeah, you deserve that, Rick. Yeah,
Scaleman, thank you.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
didn't know we could.
I didn't know anybody could do that either. That's cool.
Who
Yeah.
was it?
Scaleman?
We should. Yeah, we should send him something.
So if he's still watching, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But yeah, I think we covered everything today.
Yeah, we do, like, we got the video coming out for Sick Week that'll probably drop sometime this week, Rick?
Yeah, the video quality isn't very good, but the content is good. It's definitely worth watching. We according to the internet, we almost blew up a gas station in
I
somewhere
forgot
in
about that.
Florida. So
yeah. I mean, yeah, that was funny. Yeah.
yeah. So if nothing else, watch it for that.
Yeah. We're lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
This side of the planet.
Yeah. I've done a lot of things in my life where I was like, this is a bad idea. And that never wasn't one of them. Like the whole time I was like, never feared for my life. Yeah. There's been a lot of times where I was like, I might die. but no, that never even crossed my mind.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
The Canadians.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came and saved the day, gave him a welder. That was cool, man. So, yeah, so we'll drop that, and then really, Rick, we probably have enough for a Charlie Brown update, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and then we have a shirt that we got some final touches to do to it. Yeah, new Charlie shirt. We'll try to get that within the next couple weeks, and then if you do want merchandise off our website, it is free shipping now. So that's another cool thing.
Yeah, on apparel.
On apparel, yeah. Not website wide. Unfortunately, most of the things we sell are really heavy, so
they're expensive to ship. So as much as I would love to give you guys free shipping, when I personally pay $50 to ship something, I don't want to eat that.
Yeah, it's just really heavy, really
Unfortunately,
expensive.
the 4-leg brackets and stuff are heavy.
Yeah,
Our UPS guy hates us.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Most packages are 40 pounds, so yeah, he loves that. Lots of tape.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we just really appreciate you guys watching. It's kind of a fun thing, and again, thank you to Ricky for kind of documenting our journey and making it, more accessible, right? Like you guys have really, motivated us to. The YouTube clearly has pretty decent traction now, and so we're gonna do more with it this year. I don't know if we'll publicize a race schedule or anything. We're not really like that much planned. You know, like we kind of figure it out as we go. We got, there's so many races this year. There's a lot of options on the table.
That was another reason why we built a no prep car. It's just, I mean, no prep in the Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky area is just crazy right now.
Yeah,
there's literally multiple races every single weekend.
Yeah.
So, but
Jay, we've actually talked about doing like a separate, like not separate channel, but like a podcast about some of the business stuff, some stuff that we've learned over the years. We actually don't do estimates anymore. All of our stuff is 100% by the hour. For like small updates, but we even have really got away from doing that. Like we keep trying to get out of the chassis business, but we have a lot of really good customers that
can't say no to.
Yeah, that they're good for advertisement. They're good for that. But if you're a small shop getting with it, you have to get paid for every hour you work on something or close, or you will never. And actually, this advice comes from Bischoff. When we first started, he took Brad and I to lunch, and I'll never forget that conversation. He said, until you bill for your hours, you'll never be successful. You'll never You'll never be able to put money away. You'll never be able to cover the unexpected things that happen. So now on most of our jobs that we do have, I try to bill out every 2 weeks. So if we're working on it, they get a bill, for however long we worked on it. And like I said, we've kind of over that, difficult customer hump, to be honest, which we're thankful for. But the more that you can be liquid with them, showing them pictures, stuff like that, that's the best. And then just, bill them out every couple weeks.
Yeah.
That way you're not out the parts, they're not all that stuff. It gets way too expensive, way too fast. Our labor rate, is $150 an hour. Well, you got a guy that works on a car for 40 hours.
It's a big chunk.
Yeah. That's 1 week. You got, a $5,000 labor bill basically in a week, So, and I think it's important for customers to know that before they drop it off at the shop, is that this is my labor rate. If I work on it for 40 hours, a week's worth of work, this is what that costs.
Yeah.
That really helps put that stuff in perspective.
Yeah.
So,
Bischoff charges for every zip tie.
yeah, he does. Yeah.
He does.
He recycles his zip ties.
But yeah,
so.
you got to make sure that you're charging for every nut, bolt, washer, everything.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, doing fab work, chassis work. It's tough. It's a really tough way to make a living. You can definitely make a living off of, but I don't know if it's possible to get rich off of. Not.
I don't think
There's
so.
no way. Even the people that have done the best of it, like Bickle, literally had an assembly line of chassis built, engine and suspension mounted, body mounted, paint, literally an assembly line, cranking cars out of there, and the same car over and over and over again.
Custom.
And I bet you he still wasn't getting rich.
Yeah. I mean, he's making a good living, but
Yeah.
there's definitely, we're kind of past that stage, Jay. And this is going to sound terrible, but I don't care if we work on another race car ever, So it's just not, it's not our business direction.
Right. And I mean, honestly, if you're not going to get, paid for your time, then it's not worth doing it. A normal repair shop nowadays is over $100 an hour. And I used to be a flat rate mechanic, if you take your car to the Toyota or Lexus dealership or Cadillac dealership or whatever nowadays, you're probably paying $150 plus an hour. And that, not only that, but they're going off of book time. So if, say, a timing belt calls for 6 hours, well, even if it only takes the tech 3 hours, you're still paying 6 hours for that job at $150 an hour. So you're really paying $300 an hour to that shop. Yeah. A chassis shop will never, ever, ever get $300 an hour. Not even close. Yeah, if you get paid for every single hour that you work, you're doing well. Yeah. Because the reality of it is, this stuff takes so long that most of the time you're actually billing for about half of the hours that you put into a car. Yeah. And it's tough. And that's the biggest reason why we've migrated towards part sales, is just, it's building chassis is a tough way to make a living.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now, I mean, just for numbers' sake, 75% basically, if not even a little bit more now, is our business is off part sales.
Yep.
So, we use cars as advertising, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
Don't really have a desire to get back into, picking up the phone and, when we answer it, somebody wants chassis work. I just have no desire to do that.
Right.
We do, and you're always going to see a little bit of chassis work coming out of our shop. It's just inevitable because of the clientele that we already work for.
Yeah.
But it's not worth taking on really new customers. So, yeah. But yeah, I'd say that's it. If you guys would like to see more of the business stuff, like I said, Rick and I have talking about that more, because honestly, it's one of the easiest business to start. It doesn't really take you know, Brad says all the time, you can build a whole car with a grinder and a
TIG welder.
and a TIG welder, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't take much to do that. But yeah, it's just tough to get built for all that stuff. But yeah, man, we appreciate you guys. As always, if you can, just like, share, and subscribe. We'll do more of these. Ricky's got all this equipment now. Once we get in this shop full time, Ricky's office will be set up kind of for podcasting and, you know, all the other things that he does here. So you'll probably see this a little more frequently just because it's going to be easier. And one of the things I'm most excited about this year is he's going to take this setup on the road with us. We're going to give him a spot in the motorhome where we'll be able to do, you know, a little bit more of like podcasts from the racetrack, talk to people that we know, stuff like that.
Yeah, have some racers from the racetrack, you know, like maybe Billy or Boost 12 or, you know, other guys that we're racing with, have them on the podcast. So it should be cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So, and, you know, you're not always at the racetrack. It rains. It does something. You got time to kill anyway. So it'd be a great way to do that. So thank you guys.
Hopefully it doesn't rain.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't rain. But, yeah.
I don't want that to be the reason we're doing
I
podcasts.
don't either. So, but thank you guys. Yeah, we'll catch you later.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, free shipping on all apparel.
there you go. Lower 48.
From now till forever.
Yeah.
So go buy some apparel.
But, all right. See ya.
See you guys.